Um,
All right, I think we're live.
You're
Hello,
live.
hello, hello, everyone. I think we're live. I'm doing the magic trick of refreshing our YouTube channel to make sure that it has actually gone live. Oh, yeah, there we are.
Here we are.
Joshua, happy Tuesday.
Karlyn, happy Tuesday.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I can't complain because it's not really my place to complain.
No.
Can you complain?
You only do that before we go live.
Yes, I
And then you
complain before
get
we
it
go live.
together the second where
Yeah, you pull it together and you deliver. This is the business. No, I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm all right. I'm a little tired, man. I gotta be honest. I'm a little bit tired.
Okay.
That's all right. I'll survive.
What's making you tired?
I don't know. It's just been like a long day. I already did another live stream today, and it's just like it's a bit, man. It's a lot. It's a lot to finagle these things.
It is a lot. People don't realize how much it takes, but it takes an awful lot.
It does take an awful lot. So, folks, welcome to our show. If you have not been with us before, because we've only done like 3 other of these shows, this is our 4th show, almost to 5. And so this is Nothing Remotely Controversial with Karlyn and Joshua, where we talk about news and political events and current events, and we do tarot cards and banter and make fun of ourselves and generally make snarky comments. Do I have that about right, Joshua?
I think so. I think that's about the size of it.
Yeah. All right. I've got a lot I want to talk about tonight. It has been a week. So first question I have, and I did not prep you for this at all. Did you see Trump's press conference yesterday? I didn't see it today, but the one yesterday?
I didn't. No.
So you know what Trump did?
What?
Is he got like so pissed at the fake news and all of the nonsense that they were reporting that he had his staff put together this video of clips of the media saying one thing and then being directly like contradicted by other stuff that they said. And it was like this, like, I think like people said it was like a 15-minute video. It's not like a 15-minute video. It was like a 4 or 5-minute video that they played during the press conference. And the media got so pissed. It's like, I want to show you what CNN did during this press conference. Oh, Jesus. Where the hell is the screen? Guys, I have like 5 billion windows open on my desktop. I think that might be it. Hang on, I'm not going to actually show you. So what CNN did is they literally changed the banner, the news headline on the screen like 4 or 5 goddamn times in like the 4 minutes that this was happening, because the media was like losing their minds. And I have to show you some of the headlines that they put up. If I can find my tweet. Okay, here it is. I found it. Okay, share screen.
Share screen.
There it is. Okay. So within a couple of minutes, this is the first one right here. Angry Trump turns briefing into propaganda session. Second headline. Trump uses task force briefing to try and rewrite history on coronavirus response. Oh, wait, we've got 2 more. Trump melts down in an angry response to reports that he ignored warnings. And angry Trump uses propaganda video produced by government employees at taxpayer expense.
Wow.
Is this insane or what?
Jeez, no wonder he calls it fake news.
Like, this is like seriously one of the most insane things I've ever seen in my life. That was in like 4 or 5 minutes on CNN.
Wow.
So what is oh, thank you, Curious, for the super chat.
Thank you.
Curious knew right where I was going. So what type of person, like, they were having like a meltdown in real time during this press conference. Do you watch CNN at all? I'm just curious.
I mean, I do, but when I'm really busy like I was today, I didn't get an opportunity to.
Yeah. What do you think of them in general?
Who them? The press?
CNN, specifically CNN.
Well, I think they're incredibly biased.
Yeah. Why?
Because, I mean, it is very subjective. I mean, all truths are true to those who believe them, right? So it's like you see Trump online and I see him online or in a press conference. We're all going to have our different takes, and it's going to be colored by our beliefs about Trump. So collectively, they're selling stories through a lens, a specific lens. So of course it's going to be biased, just like when, Fox reports that briefing, it's going to be completely different,
Mm-hmm. What do you think drives people to have Trump derangement syndrome? I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and I can't quite put my finger on it because I think there are a lot of factors, and I think people greatly oversimplify Trump derangement syndrome, because I was watching something right before I came up here, and they were like, well, it's just people with low resiliency, or other people say it's just people who have low emotional intelligence, or excessively high emotional intelligence, or that they don't want to think for themselves, they don't have critical thinking skills. And I don't actually think it's any of those things necessarily. What do you think?
I think that really his moon is close to the galactic axis, which he's like a black hole in a lot of respects. Like he pulls people in, like he's very dynamic. And I think that people either are going to really like him or really not. Like I think that he's very derisive. So I think that's the big thing. He's just one of those people. And I think Hillary, for different reasons, is really the same. I think that people have a very visceral reaction to Hillary. They either really like her or they don't. Very few people are ambivalent about neither Hillary nor Trump.
Yeah, but I mean, that doesn't, to me, like, people are like, there are divisive people in the world, right? But like the insanity, and I mean, we've talked about it being more of like a mass hysteria.
Yeah,
like,
it's
that we're
crazy.
seeing now is like, it's to an excessive degree.
Oh, totally. No, it 100% is. It's very strange. I don't know what it is. I think it really is bigger than the Hillary thing, because he obviously got the presidency. But I think because he is a man, I think there are some people who don't like. I think one of the things is that Trump really is might makes right. You know what I mean? He has that philosophy, and I think a lot of people who are against it or don't feel empowered in their lives, they might really take offense to that. But I think at the end of the day, he's very polarizing.
I was thinking about it this week, and what I think is funny is, like, if I look at the SJWs that are just like basically power hungry, because I think there are kind of like two types of SJWs, that they're the ones that generally have like good intentions and they want the world to be a better, more fair, more like loving place and all that crap. And then there are the ones that are like, they're just power hungry and all they want is power and control. And if you think about Trump's personality type being, as I've called in one of my videos, the big D type, which everyone appreciates, but like the dominant style that like has that natural leadership style can be a little bit narcissistic. They want to take control, they're good visionaries, they're crappy details people, all this stuff. If you look at that, like the bad SJWs actually have a very similar personality to Donald Trump, probably.
Okay, so it's like we are what we hate.
Yes, we are what we hate. Isn't that interesting? So they're too much alike, and that's why they're going like this.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense, actually. That really does. But would you say that you, personality-wise, I mean, you're a D, no?
Well, I am, but I also have I in me, right? So,
okay.
I mean,
we're talking about the disc profile.
Yes,
folks.
we're talking about the disc profile, which I did a video on, I think last week sometime, about Dr. Fauci and Dr. Birx being opposite of Trump, and that's why it's a good team and all this stuff.
Okay.
So no, but I mean, I do have that personality style as well. You do not. You have a little bit of it. You don't have a lot of it. But it manifests itself in different ways in different people. Like control for me, I don't think is as big of a deal as it is for Trump or crazy bad SJWs.
Interesting. Yeah, it's so fascinating. It's just, yeah, it's very, very interesting. I think that with some people, it's like if you're like somebody, you can parallel them and be sympathetic, but maybe it's a matter of the people that don't like him are like that, but they don't want to admit that they're like that.
Oh no, they don't want to admit like they're like that at all. They are the party of love and tolerance and peace, Joshua. They don't want to admit that they're like Donald Trump. Angie asks, what's your Myers-Briggs, the MBTI? I am an INTJ on the MBTI. Do you know what you are?
I don't know offhand. I have to do it again.
Yeah. The problem with the Myers-Briggs though is it is not a reliable test. It is actually like it's got a very low reliability, which essentially means that if you take it on a Monday, you might get a different answer than if you take it on a Wednesday.
Right, totally. That's why I like astrology, because that's not going to really change much.
Yeah, when Disc does change too. Miles says he came up as an SC. Miles, you I think are like Dr. Fauci, which may or may not be a good thing. But people would argue that astrology is not really scientific either, Joshua.
Well, I mean, it is scientific. I mean, it's more scientific than, yeah, it's certainly more scientific than Disc or the Myers-Briggs.
Please.
Of course it is. It's
No,
based
it's
upon
not.
it's based upon math. It's all geometry. Of course it is. And every science is an art anyway.
I guess.
But yeah, I mean, Myers-Briggs especially, and Disc. I mean, this is just somebody saying, if you like to do a certain thing, then this gives you traits of this. I mean, it's ridiculous. But at least with astrology, you do have, you know, mathematical stuff. The thing is that astrology is, of course, an art, because you have a Scorpio rising that could mean many different things, because astrology is symbols, not signs.
Astrology is very complicated.
It can be very complicated, but the thing is, it's symbols and not signs, meaning that not all Taurus risings like to eat, or not all Leos are bossy. Like it's you have to combine all of it together, and even if you do, then there's nothing that's foolproof. That's why two twins who are born at the exact same time can have completely different personalities, because they're playing up certain aspects and downplaying others. It's fascinating.
Well, that's like the Disc profile too, because and this is like so far away from what I thought we were going to talk about, but like with Disc, it's like you are all the different personality styles, and it's just a matter of like which ones you pull from most often. Like if you have like a black shirt and a red shirt and a pink shirt and a purple shirt and a Hawaiian shirt in your closet, you might wear the black ones more.
Okay.
But you can still pull out the Hawaiian shirt on like special occasions, or if you're going on a cruise when there's not coronavirus.
Totally, but that's the same with astrology, in the sense that even if you have an empty first house and you have, you know, low Mars that's in the 12th, it's like you have Aries someplace in your chart, even if it's not really obvious, you know. So it's sort of like the whole concept that we do contain everything. But I like your analogy that you might be predisposed for whatever reason to always go and grab your black shirt when you have a whole bunch of other shirts. It's conditioning. It's like also about survival, in the sense that this is why the nurturing aspect is so important, because if it's safe for somebody to act like an Aries, let's say, they're going to do so. If acting like an Aries and fighting, for instance, puts them in a disadvantageous position, or it puts them in peril, then of course they're not going to act like an Aries, or they're going to act like an Aries, but not the obvious Aries traits. It's fascinating.
There are definitely times when I could not act like an Aries.
Sorry?
Like, there are definitely times I could not act like an Aries. I would have absolutely gotten in trouble.
Well, I think so, but I think that the conditioning, in the sense that yeah, like Aries and say is about fighting, right? It's about being first, being the best, being number one. If there's a threat to you, if you do that, like if somebody else wants to be alpha, let's say, and that puts literally your life at risk, you're going to curtail those Aries traits. That's why it's so important to grow up and get out of your house and start experiencing other things, so you can understand your character defects and why you got them. I mean, so much of it is based upon unlearning what we've learned, you know?
So speaking of dominant personalities, I want to talk about Adam Schiff.
Yes.
Adam Schiff really, like, he has always annoyed me. Like, what do you think of him? Do you have any thoughts?
Well, I looked at his video today, and because I know that what you had said in Twitter, that your take was that he looked like he needed to get laid, right?
My take is absolutely that Adam Schiff, well, okay, so backing up, Adam Schiff, like, and this may have happened like last week, I think, I don't even know what day it is anymore. All the days are stringing together. Like, April has been going on for like 6 months. I have no idea what's even going on right now. But Adam Schiff at some point started investigations of Donald Trump and wants to create a 9/11 style type commission to investigate the handling of coronavirus, and apparently has already started doing investigations, which I think is completely stupid. and
Right.
counterproductive, because you can
Right.
always do investigations, and like doing it right now, like when they're also simultaneously holding up bills that could help people, like it's just a distraction. It is completely unnecessary. So there's nothing to gain from doing it right now other than to make Donald Trump look bad. That's the only purpose for
Of
which
course,
to
yeah.
do anything. And so like I just think, like, you know, if Adam Schiff was able to, you know, get laid on a more regular basis, I don't know what the hell's going on, maybe he would calm the F down, is my position.
It could be. I'll tell you, I saw a video of him, I think it was 2 days ago. And then I saw a video of him like hours ago today. And the first video I saw of him, it was more a matter of he didn't look well. Like he looked like he looked like he was like sick or at least exhausted. And luckily today I saw him on another briefing of some sort, and he looked a lot more healthy. I didn't get it being a matter of him needing to get laid necessarily. I think he just needs to like, he has a lot going on around him right now, and I feel like he needs a rest. He needs like a good time. He needs like a vacation, if anything. But I think physically, to be honest, I think there are a lot more people that need to get laid before him.
Like who?
Mike Pence.
Well, okay, like obvious. Like Mike Pence needs many things.
Yeah.
That probably his wife can't provide him.
Correct.
Yeah. So who else other than...
Oh, come back.
I'm coming back. Zoom likes to shut off my camera intermittently. Okay.
Who else? You mean in politically?
Yeah.
I mean, I think Hillary, of course, although she's really not in it right now. I think but she is an example of somebody who really channels her, I think, sexual energy toward her ambition. And I think that now that she doesn't have things that she's like fighting for, that's why I think she's, you know, her messaging is just it's in poor taste. It's just bad because she doesn't have that channel. So it's not a matter of you, like everybody has like sexual energy. It's more a matter of, are they expressing it? Are they flowing with it? Are they able to transmute it in some respect? Like there are a lot of people who essentially channel that sexual energy and are extremely successful and fulfilled, and they don't seem as if they're missing something energetically. And I think Hillary was, when she was, running the campaign trail. But I'm trying to think, who else crosses your mind?
Let's go back to Adam Schiff here for a second, because I think one of the more interesting conversations that we have had in the entire time that I've known you, and like was about how I don't even remember when this happened, but it was a while ago. And then I kind of started looking for it after we had the conversation. But you were saying how people in very powerful positions, who are powerful like in the real world, oftentimes will need to have other people take control of them in other areas.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I found that to be true, like, because I started paying attention after you said that. I was like, oh my God, he's absolutely right. And listening for like things executives would tell me. And it was always, and I was actually having a conversation on the other live stream I did today with Carter from Unsafe Space, where he was talking about how he used to be involved in like, kink in San Francisco. And he said universally, people who were DOMs were always like nerdy people, and people who were subs were always like powerful people.
Absolutely.
And so I wonder, I mean, I going back to like Adam Schiff, you said he needs a vacation. Does he just need to give control over to someone else? Would that help him?
He's a Cancer. We found out that he's a Cancer. I would say with him, I think part of the issue is that he doesn't seem to be, he might have a certain degree of power, but I don't feel, at least in his personal life, from what I gathered, that he's like all powerful, always in control. Like, I think that I feel like there's a balance in his life. I think that in some areas he could use more control and perhaps some areas less. But I think, for instance, somebody like, Donald Trump is really an anomaly. It really is. I would say somebody, for instance, let's look at Barack and Michelle.
Oh yeah, because he just endorsed Biden today.
I know. And
I'm like,
crazy. But like, for instance, Barack and Michelle get along so well because she's a Capricorn, he's a Leo, and he submits to her. Like, he wouldn't be as powerful as he is unless she had so much power over him, and she does a lot. And I think that even for instance with Clinton, I mean, this is a very, very smart man. He put himself in a disadvantageous position with Monica Lewinsky, for instance. And even though he wasn't beaten necessarily by a woman into submission, he was screwed, so to speak. He was put in a very disadvantageous position. Mm-hmm. And I think that again, there is that subliminal need to have things sort of taken outside of your control when you have a certain degree of power. Some people might do it by going to the kink farm and getting their butts whooped, and some people might self-sabotage themselves and get caught sleeping with an intern or having sexual relations with that woman.
So perhaps Bill would really have benefited from having Hillary chain him up to the bed or duct tape him helplessly to the ceiling.
I think so. I think that would have worked out really well. I'm sure she would have liked it. Yeah, I think that's an example, seriously, in which if they did work with that dynamic in a healthy level, I think it could have worked, and it would have been very similar. I mean, think of it. Bill Clinton is a Leo, just like Barack. Granted, Hillary is a Scorpio and Michelle's a Capricorn, but that probably would have worked out best if they had more relations that were on that were a little bit left of center, I think.
You look like you have a strobe light going on over there.
I know. I don't know where it's coming from. I have no idea. I don't have a strobe light.
Weird.
I am not in a disco.
Sadly.
It is pretty cool though. I kind of like it because it makes me feel like my shirt's red, or is it pink, or is it fuchsia?
It's definitely red.
It looks like red. When I'm with the strobe light that I'm seeing it. It turns into like this fuchsia shade that's really pretty too. Yeah.
All right, guys, if you have specific topics that you would like Joshua and I to talk about, or if you would like him to psychic anything for you, in terms of, like, we try to keep it to like high level world events here, instead of like getting into personal stuff. But you know, if you send us a nice big super chat, you might do that too. Just let us know in the chat. I will be monitoring it. I'm trying to take questions as best I can. I would say super chat is much easier for me to see, but I will try to do my best to catch any questions that come up. So Joshua, one of the things I wanted to do today, because I just felt so bad for her in some of the stuff that I was seeing, is I wanted to look at Melania Trump's astrological chart.
Okay.
And Melania Trump is like for me, it's like cry me a river. Like she's doing pretty well. She's got her situation set up very nicely. But at the same time, like I was watching a video of her the other day where, you know, she was doing one of those PSAs that's coming out of the White House where she was like reading a children's story for Easter, or she was like just sending a message to kids like, listen to your parents. I know it's hard that you can't see your friends. It's going to be okay. And then you look at the comments under these videos and it's just like the most heinous, awful things ever. And I was like, that's just completely unnecessary when she's reading a children's story. So I started to feel bad. And I think you're probably going to tell me I shouldn't feel bad.
I like Milania, in the sense that I like her for her place. Like, I think that she's a really, really good mom. And I think that really is about the side of it. Like, that's the extent, I think, of her abilities. And I think that's a huge thing to be a good mom. I don't think that means that she's any less than, but I think that she is an amazing woman, in regard to her being a mother. Is she a good public speaker? No. Is she somebody who has, you know, good ideas for what people should do, like the Be Best program? Like, how did that get by? How
I have no idea. I think it's a stupid thing. But...
No idea. But I think that again, she's put in a position in which you know, she's having to play roles that I don't think she's necessarily comfortable in. She's having to, now again, I don't have an issue with Trump. You know that I like him, but I mean, to be married with him, I'm sure that she must want to kill him on a daily basis. I'm sure of that. And I don't blame her. I think that I think Donald Trump's a very good president. However, I think the way he probably treats her is horrible. So I mean, again, you make your own bed, you know, nobody put a gun to her head, and she probably should have known what she had signed up for. but I think that she's a very, very sweet woman um, who didn't necessarily, who didn't necessarily, was not very farsighted in terms of
Right.
what's going on right now. And I think it's very, very tough for her to parent the way that she's parenting in this drama. I think, she's a Taurus. She wants things stable. She doesn't want commotion. She wants to be able to wear a coat without having a million people talk about it. Like, I don't think that she knows how to position herself.
Do you think
just
that she
wish,
was pissed when he won because she wasn't expecting it?
I don't know. I'm sure that she wasn't happy. I know that day when I know that she was just I think that they don't have the best relationship. And I think that again, I mean, you could be a really great friend to somebody, you might be a terrible husband. You could be a really great president, but you might be an SOB. And I think I just do think that Trump's personality is such that yeah, I feel bad for her more than anything. At the end of the day, though, she
did
you make your own bed,
and so she's still gonna, she's not doing too badly. Even if the relationship isn't good, there are other things that are going well.
Yeah, absolutely. But when we look at her chart, we don't. It's a little bit tough just because we don't have her exact time of birth. But I'll share with you what we do see that might be helpful. So again, you could ignore this Leo rising because that's like a total shot in the dark that she actually might have a Leo rising. But her sun is in Taurus. We also don't know her midheaven. She has 3 planets or 4, we could say, in Taurus, with Venus, as well as Mercury, as well as Saturn, as well as the sun. So this is somebody who wants stability and she wants sensuality. She wants to feel good and she wants to make sure that she's stable and can have nice things. She's just very, very, very much like that.
So she married well for that particular goal.
She did do very well for that particular goal. At the same time, when the internal landscape feels bad, obviously I think it's tough to feel better physically, but a Taurus, they say, is a sign of emotional detachment. So maybe they would be able to. Her Mars is in Gemini, so she does have a mouth on her, meaning, she can think and she has ideas.
She speaks a lot of languages.
I mean, yeah, and that makes perfect sense with the Mars and Gemini. I mean, she's no dummy, although I think that she might at times come across like that. And I actually think it's advantageous to her. But what's interesting is that Jupiter is this huge planet, right? Jupiter is massive, and that opposes her sun in her chart. So her ego, for instance, is always going to be at odds or against this massive personality. Well, who has a massive personality but Donald Trump, who has a lot of Sagittarius, or strong Sagittarius in his chart. So in a lot of respects, there is that sense of her ego constantly being under stress, under this opposition. So I think that's really fascinating. Other stuff that's interesting. Yeah, her Chiron opposes Uranus. I think that she's gone through quite a few shocks in her life. I don't believe that Donald Trump I don't know her history, but just looking at this chart, I don't think that this is her first time at the rodeo with a relationship that may have been really tough for her. I don't think it's her first time. And I think that, there's a part of her that keeps being wounded, so to speak. And you can see that with Uranus opposing her Chiron. So Chiron's like this wounded healer, and Uranus has this opposition. So there's this sense of her constantly being almost like electrocuted and feeling really bad, bringing up old pain, bringing up old pain. And a lot of it most likely has to do, I'm guessing, with her intelligence or her sense of self-worth. Is she just, a glorified prostitute? That's probably something that she feels that she might be. And a lot of people would say that she is.
Yeah, well, that's like all the pictures that are constantly posted on anything that they post about her is pictures of her that are naked.
She's a beautiful woman. She has nothing to be ashamed of.
Very beautiful, but it's like, it also, I'm just like, it makes me feel very sad for her. I feel like, you know, for all the money in the world, like, it's just, it almost feels like she's in a prison.
Yes, absolutely. No doubt about it. I think she is in a prison. But I do think that when men as well as women get objectified like that, and there's a certain even shallowness to their personality, often that creates like this protective barrier. So nobody can really get in. Like it's so convenient to be seen as like a piece of meat or just a pretty face or just a whore, because then nobody really wants to get deeper and then you remain invulnerable, so to speak. So I think there's definitely advantages to what she's going through right now. But I think at the end of the day, she just wants to be alone. She wants to be alone with her child. And I think that she's tried to do that. And it's a shame that she can't. She can't. I mean, he's fine if he just, I think that the two of them should go off and do their own thing. And enough with the keeping up appearances. He doesn't need them in his way. I'm sorry. He's not, you know, all-American dad going fishing. That's just not Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm. Adam in the chat asks, can Joshua psychic when the blackface governor will be removed? I don't know who you're talking about, Adam, so let me know who you're talking about, and then we'll see. I also did see a question about when the lockdown is going to end. Maybe we'll keep that for last, because we've done that question basically every other stream, I think. Mm-hmm. And I think you typically say around summer. Do you still think around summer?
I think that it's going to be sporadic and that some areas are going to open up more, faster than others. And I think there's going to be a lot of, and we'll pull cards on it to see what the latest is. Yeah. But I think it's going to be sporadic, and I think it's going to be very much about choice with a lot of caveats and by location as well.
I think people are like, I think it's going to start, like, I guess Trump is talking, like he's forming like a task force to spearhead reopening the economy. I think it's going to happen sooner rather than later, simply because, Ralph Northam is who they're talking about. I think it's going to happen sooner rather than later because his poll numbers are going down. And
this is the thing.
On the coronavirus is going down. So Trump's going to want to do something.
He's going to want to do something. But the thing is, as soon as he does this, there are going to be people that are just waiting in the wings for more cases to pop up to say that he's irresponsible. But he doesn't have that power to do that anyway. Correct? Mm-hmm. He can't get people to go back to work. That's the attorney general, right?
No. Like, well, no, it's the individual states. They got to do their thing.
Right. The governors make that decision. Yeah. So I think that if he pushes for it, again, like, you know, there'll be blood in his hands. Like, he's damned if he does and he's damned if he doesn't, which is really, you know, that's the case with him. Like, he's not able to really make any moves because people are going to jump down his throat no matter what. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's talk about Adam's question. Adam wants to know I guess maybe we should start with if Ralph Northam will be removed. I don't know what the latest controversy with Ralph Northam is. I haven't been following that closely. But I know that he's the governor of Virginia. I know that he was caught in blackface in his old college yearbook. And that was a big controversy, but he didn't resign over it. He kind of like dug in his heels and was like, F you guys. I know there was controversy with him around the Second Amendment, and there was a big 2A rally in Virginia in which he was basically like, Ralph Northam was like, the Klan is coming, and then the 2A rally was completely fine and nothing happened and people were very peaceful and they were just, you know, carrying their guns around and like hanging out. So I don't know. So maybe we should look at if he will be removed.
Will he be? Say his name.
Ralph Northam.
Will Ralph Northam be removed? Right.
Yep.
What state did you say?
Virginia.
Tell me when to start shuffling on that. All right. Will Ralph be removed? And tell me when I should stop shuffling on it.
Stop.
I don't think he'll be removed. No, I think that it's I think if anything he might leave. There's going to be more pressure that's on him that comes up. There's going to be something else too, though. I don't think that he'll be removed. He has a lot of important people that are eating out of his hand. Like, he has some very, very important people in some very, very high places, and it's a very familial type thing. But there will be something else. But it's interesting. The people who actually can make that decision, I feel are very much eating out of his hand. And I do think, though, that if he would leave on his own accord is more likely than him actually getting removed. He has some really interesting connections here. That again, they feel very much like family. So the powers that be, he's very much connected to, and almost like a family-like thing. So unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your perspective, I don't think he'll be removed.
All right, so I'm sorry, Adam. It looks like you are out of luck on that one. Joshua, could we call that the deep state?
The what?
The deep state.
I mean, I got really clearly that, like, he's definitely, there's some people who they're it almost feels like energetically they're in bed together, but it's not like they're literally sleeping with each other. It's really more a matter of, like, think of it in terms of like holidays, like godfather to your babies, like that kind of closeness. Wow. And you could kill someone and still nobody's going to go against somebody that you're that, that they're that close to. It's really interesting.
All right. Horace Scorpion wants to know about Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan, and I want to talk about her too, but I want to pause because Jen O'Toole has given us a super chat. Yay, Jen.
Thank you, Jen.
We like Jen, and Jen has a question. I don't even know if I want to go down this rabbit hole, Jen, but you gave me a super chat, so I'm going to do it, girl. Will there ever be an acknowledgement by President Trump of the existence of Q? And then if Joshua is willing to indulge me, maybe at the end of the hour, when can I expect to have my first paying client as the unicorn coach?
Launch, get things going for your coaching thing next week. We have a new moon in Taurus, the 22nd of April. Plant seeds. It's very fertile and very rich. Use between now and then to wrap stuff up, getting organized, cleaning. Okay, but what's our...
Hang on, your microphone is cutting in and out. What did you just say? Zoom is messing with your mic, but you're back, I think. Say something.
Oh, what about now?
Oh, you're good. So okay. She wants to know about if President Trump will acknowledge the existence of Q. Do you know anything about QAnon?
No. What's Q?
So okay, Guys, I'm very novice in this whole particular theory, but my understanding is that Q is some high-level guy that has like top secret security clearance, and he posts riddles on the internet that people then decipher. And one of the things with this is that Trump was basically recruited to be president because all politicians are criminals and Trump is not a criminal, and he was recruited to be president during this time so he could clean out the deep state and all this stuff. It is like a deep state thing. And so I think that and guys, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, like people that are really people get really into this where they're like looking for his riddles and they're deciphering clues constantly, and they want to know if Trump will acknowledge the existence of Q, who is the guy sending them these clues. I don't know if that makes any sense at all, but that's my understanding.
Well, it's an interesting question because it supposes that there is this Q thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it supposes that Q is a real person.
Right.
Which I'm not making any judgments. I'm not judging either way. I'm just trying to explain.
Totally. Tell me when I should stop shuffling on. Will he acknowledge Q?
Stop.
Absolutely not. No.
Nope. Wah wah.
No, I mean he's very, very quick. I mean, he does default to no. I mean, he has a lot to protect. I mean, think of having all that money, even being brought up with that money, when plenty of people are wanting to get in your pocket. You're going to default to no. You're going to have really, really strong boundaries, and you're not going to show you're going to keep your cards close to your chest. So yeah.
Do you think that Trump is generally like a lot keeps more things close to the chest than we might give him credit for?
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, I think I don't think that he would be able to be as successful as he is unless there were certain people who he knows he's really connected to. I think his daughter is definitely one. I think that, you know, she is daddy's little girl, and I think that she's extremely loyal to him. And I think that what we don't always realize about Trump is that he has, you know, a few planets in the sign of Cancer, which make him exceptionally sensitive and exceptionally connected to family. I think that in terms of Melania, because I think there's friction there, I don't think that that is as strong. Again, Milania is a Taurus, and if you upset a Taurus, well, they're going to make it very difficult for you. But I think that in his actual, his first marriage, or with the children there, or the first few, I forget who's Ivanka. Who is that? Who's Ivanka's mother?
Oh God, what is her? Ivana.
Ivana. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I feel that he has close people that he does connect to. He essentially connects to people who he knows value him and care about him an awful lot. Like, he does have people around him. There's more than just her. I get there being 3 or 4. And I do think that he's the type of person, it does help when he not only knows that, but he needs to feel as if he needs to know that he's able to crush somebody in order to really trust them. And I think that it takes what it takes. But yeah, I think that he confides in those people, and that he also, I think with most people though, he's smart. Like, I don't think he likes Mike Pence for 1 second. I don't think that they can stand each other at all. I'm sure they absolutely hate each other's guts.
I think Mike Pence's wife hates Trump even more than Mike Pence. Mike Pence's wife cannot stand Trump. You can tell anytime she's around him.
Yeah, well, I think, again, Mike Pence is a Gemini, and so is Donald Trump. And I think Geminis are, quite frankly, they can be very shifty. And what I mean by that is, if they can screw you over, depending on the Gemini, they will. And they're very smart, and they're very good at it. And you won't see you won't notice what had hit you. And I think Mike Pence tried that shit. Can I say that here?
Sure, go ahead. You just did.
I think Mike Pence tried that with Trump. And Trump was like, you're not going to do that again. And, you know, it's like one of those things, fool me once, shame on you. But I think that Mike tried to be smarty pants, and Donald Trump got upset and essentially, you know, threatened him.
He gave him a stern talking to.
Well, I think that he said, you know, you do that again, and trust me, I'll be the one that's laughing, not you. You know, and I think that they have a gentleman's agreement with civility. But again, you know, I think that, yeah, Pence has done more than one thing to offend Trump, and I think that that he is not that stupid that he's going to continue to do that, because I do think that Trump will bury him if he does it again.
Mike Pence definitely knows where his bread is buttered.
Well, he does, but that doesn't stop him from being. Geminis can be almost like little kids. Like, how much can I get away with in terms of class? Can I talk during class? Can I throw spitballs? Can I, you know, what can I do? How much can I get away with before I'm called out and I get in trouble? Like, that can be very Gemini, and Pence is like that.
Yeah. Leia says in the chat that she wonders if Ivanka will be VP or president one day. I absolutely think Ivanka could be president. I remember, like, when I first saw her at CPAC, I was not excited about seeing Ivanka, and I just happened to be there when she came on. And so I was watching her, I was like, the very first thought in my head is, damn, like, she looks really presidential. She presents as very presidential.
Absolutely. Well, let's see if she has any plans to. I think that would be a good question. Yeah?
Yeah, sure. I don't know that she wants it, is the thing. I think she could do it if she wants it.
Oh, absolutely. So is she interested, or does she have a potential of becoming or at least running for president one day?
Sure.
And someone I should stop shuffling on that.
Stop.
I think that it's more likely she'll have another space in office. I don't know if it's presidency, but something that's really high up. There's a fear of failure around her right now, but I do think that things are leaning in that direction. I get her now thinking, well, how am I going to keep this in place if I do that? I think that she's just an intensely private person. You know, she's a Scorpio. She has very, very intense feelings. She's very, very private. I think it's a possibility, but I think that she needs to sort of cut her teeth on other positions that are not as that do not offer so much visibility.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But I think it is possible, very possible.
So maybe President Ivanka. I don't think that I think that Nikki Haley, I think, is more likely to be president than Ivanka. But we'll see. We'll see. All right, guys, remember, if you have any questions for Joshua or myself, please go ahead and chat them in. Let's talk about Michigan. Do you know what happened in Michigan in the last week?
Pray tell.
So what happened is the governor of Michigan banned people, a lot of things. First, number one is, so like all these videos started getting posted out of Michigan where people were like going to Walmart, and these huge sections of Walmart would be like roped off from people being able to buy stuff. So you could come in and buy food, but you couldn't buy seeds to plant in the garden or things to, you know, fix your lawn with. And you could buy a big TV, but you couldn't buy an entertainment center to put the TV on and things like that. But the other thing so they're banning like sale of all non-essential items, whatever.
Huh.
Even if the store is open and selling other things, they won't sell you things that they deem non-essential.
Why?
I don't know. I think that's a very good question. Like, why can't people buy stuff for their garden if they're supposed to be social distancing at home? I think it's stupid. But the other thing is they banned people, if you have a second property, you are not allowed to go to your second property. Which to me is just like the craziest thing in the world, because
totally crazy.
Like, why can't someone get in a car and drive to a home that they own? I don't understand. And so now there's this big backlash against them. And I guess this one guy started a Facebook group all about like protesting the crazy rules in Michigan. And he thought like, maybe I'll get like 500 people or whatever. And he's gotten like 500,000 people or something, like some ridiculously large number of people that are pissed off in Michigan about all this stuff. What do you think about that?
I think it's crazy. I don't understand their mentality in regard to it. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I don't get it.
No, I mean, I think like to me, like a lot of the authoritarian stuff that's going on is downright, it's scary. I did this video on my YouTube the other day that was all about how there was a study that came out that basically said that both Democrats and Republicans are willing to give up their liberties to feel safer under coronavirus. And I was actually shocked. Like, Democrats I can understand because like a lot of them are authoritarian anyway, but it was something crazy, like 70% of Republicans were willing to give up their liberties during coronavirus. I was like, what are you doing? Why? I don't get it.
That's, yeah, well, I think yeah, they must be just very afraid. And I think there's so many things that this is doing. It's giving us a hard reset to our lives where we're taking things into consideration that we hadn't even thought of before. Like, what do I want to do in terms of work? Where do I want to live? How do I want to live my life? I mean, nothing will ever be the same, but it's calling attention to some really big questions for all of our lives. And I think that with anything, there's always going to be a balance. As much negative that can come up out of something, think about the deaths and the illness and the panic and the money that's lost. Well, there's the balance of that. And that's what we have to look for is to say, how is this just as positive as it is negative? And I think that if we look at that, then we're going to find there's so many things that can actually be leveraged and gained through this whole thing. And I think that's really important.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people are like, if you go on IG, you'll notice like people are on it. Like, they are not wasting time. They are marketing new stuff. They are on top of this. They're seeing this as an opportunity, and they're going after it. I could not believe, like, I have IG, but there was like ad after ad after ad, more than usual. And I thought it was, obviously it's a pain to see those ads, but part of me was like, yes, this is good. This is, people taking action.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I get that, but I just wonder, like, why? Well, I mean, that almost seems like a dichotomy, like contradictory to each other, right? Because on one hand, you're saying like this is a time for people to take action and they're doing new things, and that's all fine, well and good. On the other hand, people are basically like saying, okay, like it's okay that you can tell me what side of the sidewalk I have to walk down and whose house I can go to and what things I can't buy at the store, and arrest me for running down the beach and all this stuff. And it's like, how are those things existing at the same time, where some people are like, this is an opportunity, and some people are like, yeah, just take all my freedoms away?
Well, I think that I think the balance is really, there are certain parameters that we have to deal with right now, and we don't know everything that's going on. So we don't have the wherewithal to say, oh, I can go walk around the block with or without a mask, or I can go into the CVS with a mask. We don't have that knowledge. So I think the people that are that don't have really authoritarian issues are going to say, okay, here's my box. This is what I'm told I can do. I don't know about it, but hey, if this is what they say and I get to operate within this box, maybe I'll create an app for my business, or maybe I'll start a new business, or maybe I'll do this, or maybe I'll connect with people this way, or maybe I'll talk to Aunt Sally on the phone more, or whatever. Like, they're doing what they can do within those parameters. Those people that, have authority issues, they're going to go against the grain. And I'm not saying that, we're in unprecedented times, and yes, I understand that certain liberties are being taken away, but the fact of the matter is that we just have to sort of deal with it, if only because we don't know what we're playing with. And I think that the measures that would be taken, they wouldn't be taken unless there was a need for them. And even
bullshit.
if there isn't,
no, stop. Like, why is there a need for people not to have seeds for their garden?
No, I agree with you there, of course. I agree with you there. But what I'm saying is that there's nothing that can really be done. If Walmart doesn't want to sell you seeds for your garden, you're not going to get seeds. It makes no sense to fight Walmart. You're not going to walk out of there with your garden supplies.
But it's not Walmart is the thing, in my understanding. And guys, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. It's not Walmart. It's the state saying you cannot buy these things. Well, and that to me is a different thing.
Oh, it's right? Completely crazy. Yeah, I think it's crazy, but I think that it's a fool's errand trying to fight something like that. What can you buy? You know what I mean? Where might you be able to get this? I'm not saying that it's right. I'm saying it makes no sense with all the stuff that we can get and that we can do to fight something that is just a waste of energy. It's almost like when Dad says no, I mean, unless you can manipulate and con and get your dad to say yes, you're just going to say, okay, well, this stinks. I can't garden. What else can I do? Choice B.
I don't know. Like, I think that you can fight it, though, and I think that people should be fighting it, because to me, this is like a slippery slope. It's like, one day you're telling me I can't buy garden supplies. What are you going to tell me tomorrow? And how much will people accept before they say, this is bullshit?
Right. Well, I think it may have to do again with the fact that every single day when we go into a grocery store, we go to a Walmart, these people are not getting paid much money, and they're putting themselves in way more danger than other people. They're the only people that are still working, that have most communications with the public. Maybe it's a matter, if this is not essential, then this person shouldn't be putting their life in danger by ringing me up. Maybe that's it. So
wait, here's another thing though. Here's another thing that happened, and Adam points this out in the chat, and I had heard about this too, and I forgot, is that there was a church that did a drive-in like church service on Easter, and people just stayed in their cars. They came and stayed in their cars and did their thing. Each car got fined $500 by the police. They fined them $500 for driving up in their car and having their church service in their cars.
Wow.
Like, this is just, it's stupid. In Boston, you can literally get fined for walking down the wrong way on a sidewalk.
Serious?
Yes. I just saw this a couple minutes ago.
You could move into somebody?
Yeah. Boston has assigned directions on sidewalks.
Wow. So crazy. But again, it's one of those things. Like I mean, okay, in terms of like police, okay? Policeman has a gun. Get out of the car, shut up, whatever. This is a police officer who has a gun. You do what he says. Same
I don't know.
I'm sorry, but you do. Like, this is the way things work. Unless you want to get shot, you do what he says.
No, or you could do like the guy on the beach did. Did you see the video of the guy on the beach that ran away from the cop?
I
told you about this.
I don't agree with that. I believe that, guess what? This guy he is here to protect you, he's here to serve, and he's putting himself in
Oh.
danger every single day of his life to protect me.
No,
if
bullshit.
He tells me to shut up or get off the beach, I'm off the beach and I'm shutting up.
Joshua, BS. Because if that police officer is going out of his way to chase you down as you're running by yourself down the beach, you are breaking no laws. That guy is doing something that's unnecessary. And you cannot tell me for one red second that if you were that jogger running down the beach by yourself and you saw a cop coming after you running far slower than you were capable of, you would run away too.
I don't know.
You absolutely would.
Okay, look, there are going to be good cops, good psychics, bad psychics, good doctors, bad doctors. So who knows? But what I'm saying is it's the same thing in terms of that Boston thing in terms of the street. If there's a sign that says you walk down this way, then you just do it. You just do it. These are unprecedented times. If they're having these laws, they're having these rules, then somebody thought that they were a good idea and we should listen to them. Let's follow the rules, for crying out loud.
You and I are difficult?
This is where you're a snowflake.
I am not being a snowflake. You're being a snowflake.
I am not being a snowflake. I'm saying you follow the rules of the land. If somebody tells you to do something, they have a gun, you do it.
Absolutely disagree with this. If I am not doing anything wrong, if I'm not putting myself in any danger, if I'm not putting myself or anyone else in any danger, yeah, Justifiable says Stanford prison experiment. Yes, this is a really good example. Let's talk about the Stanford prison experiment. Have you heard about this?
No.
There have been several movies about this. The best one, I think, is actually called The Stanford Prison Experiment, just to make it very, very simple. So this was back in I want to say the 70s. I vaguely remember it might have been earlier, but I think it was the 70s, where on Stanford, what they did was they basically built this little makeshift prison, and they recruited a bunch of students to come, and half of the students were guards and half of the students were prisoners. And they wanted to basically test what is the impact on people's mental health from being incarcerated. Now, they went through this whole interview process, and they thought that they were being assigned the best role for them based on the interview process, but in fact it was just a flip of the coin that determined if they were a guard or if they were a prisoner. So they get the people in, and the prisoners have to follow this very strict set of rules, and the guards are supposed to keep them in line. And basically what happened, to make a long story short, the whole experiment broke down in it was supposed to last 2 weeks. It broke down in a couple of days because the guards got so power hungry in those few days that they were tormenting the prisoners incessantly.
Okay.
And that happened in 2 or 3 days.
Okay.
And I absolutely think there are parallels here, because you see police. There was a video of police. This dude was playing t-ball in the park with his daughter. They're by themselves. They obviously live in the same house, and they're just playing in the park together. Cops came up and arrested the father for playing ball in the park with his daughter. Arrested.
Was this during Corona times?
Yeah, it was last week or something.
Okay.
But it's not we're allowed to go in the park. We're allowed to go outside for exercise. They were socially distancing. They were doing everything they should have been doing. They arrested the guy in front of his daughter.
Thing that we don't always realize. It depends on who reported that story and what you got out of it. Remember, there are 3 sides to every story: the cop side, the dad side, and what actually happened.
I'm gonna trust the side of the video camera.
Again, it all depends too on when we started rolling. But I think that again, as you even say to your clients when you coach people in terms of business, do you always assume, what is it?
Assume positive intent, but I do not assume positive intent of people who are getting power hungry. Those people have that. This is, this whole conversation is now coming full circle, because those people are no better than the bad SJWs.
Huh. Okay. I see your point. I don't agree with it, but I see your point. I think it makes a lot of sense. You wanted to say something about Rita Olson or Wilson, whatever her name is?
Oh, yes, I did want to say something about Rita Wilson. Okay, so Rita Wilson came out today. Thank you for reminding me. She came out today and was like, I had horrible side effects from the hydroxychloroquine. And I wanted to know, like, I think she's lying. I think she's straight lying. I thought I had this on my screen somewhere, whatever. I guess I don't. I think that she's straight lying. Because I don't believe that she ever had coronavirus in the first place. I think her and Tom Hanks were absolutely lying. So
I absolutely agree.
So why the hell, like, would I believe that she had these horrible side effects from hydroxychloroquine?
Right. I totally agree with you. I saw that article. I don't trust her as far as I could throw her. I think that what we have to realize in terms of actors, that if they're not acting on a regular basis, and I haven't seen her, like, I haven't seen her IMDb or whatever it's called. I don't know what she's doing, but when actors do not act on a regular basis, they get crazy in their personal lives and they cause drama. There is a reason why they are so good on screen, because they need that drama. And if they're not working, they can get crazy and they can make stuff up. And I think that's what both of them are doing. I don't think you can be that talented by telling stories to the world on camera, then stop doing that and be a normal person and not lie about having coronavirus. And of course, the side effects from that drug. Yeah, I don't believe it for 1 second.
Yeah. And like, I was kind of okay with it because, like, if they lie about having coronavirus, like, whatever, like, there no one is harmed in them lying about having coronavirus. It's stupid. It's a waste of time. I don't know why people even cover this stuff, but whatever. But like, when you start lying about how bad your side effects were from a drug that I strongly doubt you ever took in the goddamn first place, like, and like, if you read the article, it was like, I was dizzy. I was like, you know what? Like, relax. This is something, this really pisses me off, because like, Trump has been promoting this thing, right? And he's been just generally positive about it. And he's been saying, oh, I think it could work. I hope it could work. I feel really good about it. The media is jumping on him.
Oops, come back.
Hang on. Zoom knew. Oh, God dang. Zoom knew that I was ranting. It was like, you're going to stop right now. No. So the media has been like totally spreading lies about this drug, basically saying like it doesn't really work and it kills people and all this stuff, which is absolute BS. You've got people like, there was this Democratic state representative from Michigan today who basically came out and said, this drug saved my life. And she was like really thankful to Trump for it. And this is something that it seems to me could really help people, that is not going to hurt them because it's been around for a long time. They know it's not going to hurt people. And it could actually end up saving people's lives. And Rita Wilson is coming out being like, yeah, I had horrible side effects. Like, shut the hell up.
Right. Well, also, in all fairness, it could be psychosomatic in that she convinced herself that she was having these, so then she could go and report problems with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think there's a lot of layers, but I don't think either one of them are well mentally here.
That's too bad.
Was there anything else?
Want to do like a final message for everyone?
Yeah. Just for what's going on.
Yeah, let's end on a high point. Like, what do people need to know this week in order to live their best life, yada yada, whatever?
Let's see. Let's do a quick reading for it. To live your best life, your bestest life.
Live your bestest life in quarantine. Be best in quarantine. That's gonna be like the new thing that people say at the end of like fortune cookies. In quarantine.
Oh, in quarantine. How I should stop shuffling.
Stop.
Okay. This is good. So this is a time really with Two of Wands. It's very much about finding success in more than one area, because we're in this weird no man's land, right? And sort of like, what's going on here and what's going on there? We don't know what's coming up. So with Two of Wands, it's going to be ideal for you to find success in more than one area. So find out what it is that, two things that excite you or two things that you love. It doesn't even have to be work or money related. It could be hanging out with your husband's side of the family and then also hanging out with your side of the family, or enjoying planting if you can get your hands on some.
We can't hang out with anyone's family.
Yeah,
we're forbidden.
You can't. Finding two things. I guess my thing is, don't put all your eggs in one basket right now. It's all about balancing. The devil comes up. There's going to be some kind of like restrictions, but really right now, it's all about finalizing things, especially this week before your new moon next week. Like, this is the time to be sort of like, this is no longer working. I got to move myself out of this. This relationship is foolish. Like, this is a big old wrapping things up. When we get to Taurus, your Taurus new moon next week, it's going to be very much about, this is fertile, this is rich, this is what I want to grow. But now it's like, get the weeds out. Like, find out what time is up. Like, what is time, what has lived on well past its sell by date. Because next week it's all about planting seeds. It's a very, very rich, fertile new moon. You want to be,
we can't plant seeds, we're not allowed.
Well, metaphorically, metaphorically. So this week, you're clearing out the weeds. You're like, you know what? I don't want violets anymore. I don't want weeds. I'm going to get rid of this soil. This person's got to go. I don't want to do this in my life anymore, whatever. You're clearing because next week, you want that fertile, beautiful. You want it rich. You want it moist. So prepare to plant your seeds next week. Next Wednesday is the new moon.
I was just about to make a really bad joke. We'll save that bad joke for next time.
Next time.
All right. And Leia, I want to say, I did see your question about will AOC get elected? Like, ping us next time, and maybe we'll talk about AOC next time, Joshua.
AOC, yeah, she's fascinating.
She's something else, I'll tell you what.
She's something else. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we're gonna wrap it up because we're already 6 minutes over time. Oh no, it's too bad too, because your energy just picked up at the end. You were like blah, and then you peaked at the end. I suppose it's best to peak at the end than at the beginning.
I don't think I'm ever blah.
You were a little blah, man. You were a little low energy. Joshua's low energy tonight. He's gonna be back next week. We're gonna get him a coffee.
I'll make sure I have a coffee. Not that Starbucks is open, but I can get a coffee.
All right. Well, thank you for hanging out, guys. I hope you enjoyed our stream. Hit us up on Twitter. Joshua, where can people find you?
Well, on your Twitter is the fastest way for to be found. But you can also go psychicsun.com. What is it? PSYCHICSU. Just follow Karlyn and then look for my name and then click around. And then you'll be like, oh, here he is.
It's all going downhill really.
Downhill. This is what happens.
All right, guys. Good night. We'll be back same time next week, Tuesday, 9:30 for more psychic fun time with Karlyn and Joshua. Bye.
Bye.
Hang on. Well, I thought we were gonna leave, but now I can't find the damn screen to shut it off.
Oh, here I am looking for it on.
All right, maybe we're gonna hang around for another second, guys, because I can't end the damn live stream without finding it on my computer. There was a time when I could control my computer. That time has since passed. Let this be a lesson to you guys. If you're ever doing a live stream, don't have too much crap opened on your desktop, because you will never, ever, ever be able to leave the live stream ever. Hang on. It's coming. Or going, rather. Okay. With any luck. Live control room. End stream.